air conditioning, make it cool and livable in here. After the Pledge of Allegiance, we just have a brief moment of silence for those who have served and passed in the country. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. David, would you be gracious enough to take it away?
Yes, we reviewed the bills and we found them sufficient to be paid.
Thank you very much. Do you have a motion to accept the report of the audit committee?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Frank. I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Do we have a motion for approval of the May 9, 2024 town board minutes?
So moved.
Town clerk. Thank you very much, David. Was that David?
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
I'll second.
And Julie seconded. Thank you, sir. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you very much. We now have public comment session for any residents who appear to make a comment on anything in tonight's topic.
I'd like to speak on the water district.
Please, Tom, step up. Thank you, right here, right up here.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That way you're not checking the camera. That way you're not checking the camera.
I'd like to start out with just a little bit of disappointment that there wasn't more public input into the district and the forming of it. When we negotiated with the city of Troy, we negotiated that in the event that we ever decided to explore our own water district or water supply, that they would still use us, or we'd still use them as backup. And they agreed to that. And that was some real hard negotiations getting that done. I think we have a real opportunity to do the closed system right now for water district number 2 over there. I think if you put the 12-inch pipe up 66 to Algonquin and the estates and into the school, I think you're going to have a real pressure problem. I think it's extended out too far. And just thinking it over, I think if you went up and you put a tank, doesn't have to be a large tank, but a 200,000 gallon tank up at the top of 351 up by Bobby Doors, I think that would alleviate the problems, and it would also create enough pressure for the rest of the district. And as we become a little more into this, we find some more well sites, which there are a lot of them around this town. There's 3 distinct aquifers in this town. And, you know, we have a 400,000 gallon tank sitting up at the top of Hinkle. And I think that would be a real, you know, just something to get involved in. And then we could cut loose from Troy, supply our own water and save some money. Save money for the townspeople. The other thing is that if you're going to do this, you really should have somebody that's managing the program. You know, I've been talking to Bob Burnett, and we started talking about this probably in June of last year. And in October, we decided to write up some notes and stuff on things. And, you know, after the election, I mentioned it to Tom that I had some, you know, decent ideas, but we didn't hear anything. And next thing I know, we have a water district that they're gonna vote on. The Eastview over off of 43, he has his own water district over there for his apartments and the condos. And he's drawn his water out of that water behind the Emerald Park School, which flows right at the bottom of 351. I think that would be an ideal spot to check the water and see, you know, what it is viable. You could pump right up to the tank. You could feed it right back down into the water district. The other thing is that, you know, nobody's given the land use and where the new development's gonna be when Brunswick and Sand Lake run out of areas to build. And we're right between the two of them, and we've got big expanses of land. And you'll never see it in my lifetime, but it's coming. And somebody should take the bull by the horns and, you know, give it some thought. Thank you. Anybody questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Excuse me, sir, for making my notes. My rudeness, I apologize now. Would you care to speak, sir?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
I have some general comments on the agenda. Can you explain what a workshop is versus a regular town board meeting? Because this seems like a regular town board meeting, not a workshop. You made a motion to pay bills. I haven't seen a motion to pay them, but I did see a motion to accept the report of the audit committee. You have appointments, that's an action of the town board. There's discussion, which is a town board matter, that could theoretically fall in a workshop. But overall, this looks like a regular town board meeting, and I would encourage you to call it a regular town board meeting, or call it a second meeting in the month. But don't call it a workshop when it's clear that the work goes beyond just what a workshop would be. Workshop would be discussion, and discussion only. And that would be it. Town board meeting, any vote that's needed by the town board, then it becomes a town board meeting. And I think you should try to keep to that. I mean, I have no problem with 2 meetings a month. That's what many towns do. You can have 2 meetings a month, and if you need to cancel one of them each month, so what? You know, it's on, at least it's on the calendar. People see it as a regular meeting, and they can respond accordingly. That was on that. In terms of district number 2, I have to say, I do disagree totally with Tom. Developing your own water source is a whole new set of problems and issues and expenses. And considering where the EPA is going, I think you're going to see a lot of these small water districts fall apart. They're not really a water district, they're a public water supply to a private interest, like an apartment building or the school. But as the regs get more and more stringent, they're going to have a harder and harder time meeting those standards. At least we know if we're buying our water from Troy, that at least the water that comes over the line, outside of chlorine, will have to meet at least all the substance issues that's applied. Like, they can't supply us with water that has PFOAs in excess of the state standard or the EPA standard. But if we were our own water source, we'd have to strip everything out that was there. I urge caution. I did add to your collection of signs that are around the town this morning. I don't know, DJ, is he still? Oh, there you are. How long is Cayuga Court? Quarter mile?
Touch over probably, yeah.
Yeah. 3 signs, okay? They were put up, they've been there for a week, or more. And there's another sign at the corner of 66 that's been there for a month. And I'm not complaining about the sign, but I am complaining about the sign. We have a sign ordinance. We enforce that against town businesses because we can reach them. But when somebody just sticks a lawn sign up, we don't say anything. Can't regulate, political signs, and certainly when it's not-for-profit items, there should be an exception in the rules of the town. And I noticed that town code is on the agenda, although for a different matter, but it might be one of those things you want to look at. So thank you for your ear, and that's my comments.
Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate your time. Anyone else care to speak? Brandon, did you want to say something? Okay.
If you don't mind, I'd like to just talk real quick to the board. We met with the CAC last Monday, maybe, and it was a very interesting, very informative meeting for me. I didn't realize, I think we have 2 of the members of the CAC that have been there since the existence of the CAC. So it was a good conversation. We talked about some organizational things that we'll be doing. One of the things I wanted to mention to this board was that the A in the CAC takes very seriously, and that of course stands for advisory. And we talked about how do things get to the CAC, when did the CAC get involved. Their collective idea was that, well, they feel like the town board or a town board should ask them for when they need or would like their advice or to advise them on a certain situation. So it was interesting. The folks that have been on there said in the past 10 years, they can only remember one time when they were asked to provide some input, and that was when the PFOA thing first came up. I do remember them addressing the board at that time. So that's just background. Well, one of the things we talked about and for consideration of the town board was, do we want to potentially ask their advice, have them look at, provide some input on the zoning land use resolution that we had a public hearing on at the last town board meeting that we haven't acted on. It's a thought. The town board doesn't have to decide tonight, but I presented to the town board as, here's an issue we're thinking about. I think we're going to continue to think about. I don't think we're planning on acting on it this week or next in 2 weeks. And it might be an opportunity for us to ask these folks who are very qualified to look into it, ask questions that they might have, and potentially provide some advice or advisory opinion. So I just wanted to share that with the town board and the members. And I would like for us to ask them to look at it and let us know what they think and kick the tires a little bit if we think that's the right thing to do. But that was all.
I think we would all appreciate any kind of input that they could provide.
Very much so. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we are very, very interested, and also on a comprehensive plan too.
Yeah, we talked about the comprehensive plan too, and I know there's a lot that has to go into that, but they're very eager to help out where and when possible.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move to a discussion item. Large group events. We have the draft that Andy was gracious enough to supply us with for our review. Comments or thoughts on any of the points from members of the board?
I think there was a lot of pushback about the number of persons, and I agree. You know, when you say a large group event, but then you have 25 people. I had a note to make that like 100. I don't know if anybody thinks, and then for the application, there was like, no less than 60 days. I thought maybe you could get away with 30 days. Alcoholic beverages, need a permit from the New York State Liquor Authority anyway on that. Then there was a note about, electronic amplification before the hour of 10 or after the hour of 6. Well, our code says like that the noise is till 10. So I thought maybe that would, yeah, I know. And 152-9, the notification for parking restrictions. I thought that whole section was a bit much to deal with. And 52-10, town treasurer, we have to go to town clerk. And there's actually penalties for offenses, subject to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 15 days. That's a little much,
Just doesn't make sense.
just a little tough. So that's my comment.
I agree on those points. 20, limited to 25, that's low. 60 days was a long ways ahead, and planning and so on. They don't get the great practice for that. We continue to go through this, but I would ask that the board members continue to go through it and bring it up at the town board meeting,
Yeah, that's fine.
please.
So what is, I agree with everything June said, but I also have a fundamental issue. What is it that we're trying to achieve with having this law?
Like how it began was because the insurance company had recommended that you do put some kind of permitting process in place so you have coverage, so the town has liability coverage. So that there's a permit that's issued. They haven't even got that far as like what we want to charge for a permit, what is needed on the permit, your insurance liability, what they would like to see. So
Are you talking about like the organization's gonna have to have an insurance certificate on file, or just for us? Like, are you asking, like, if somebody has an event, they have to have insurance, or just our insurance policy wants us to have a permit?
no, like when you look at the city of Troy, for instance, or Albany, when you get that permit, you're saying that you're gonna have the town as an additional insured, and you're gonna have some insurance that goes along with that permit. It's usually bigger organizations, not,
And do we have a lot of events that would qualify for something like this? Like Detroit and Albany probably do, but
oh, they have the bike race.
maybe the bike race comes to mind, but could we achieve that in some other form without going through a local law to put someone in jail for 15 days?
We're gonna get rid of that part.
There's
I know, I'm
definitely
just saying,
clauses in
but
there.
like, is there just like a way to just have like communication and, or a non-permit sign up?
I think you have to
Something-
think too about down the road, what's gonna happen with the park if that gets established, and having larger groups that might wanna have a wedding or an event or something there.
You know, I'm just thinking that we're not Troy and Albany, and so if there was a more informal way to go about it, to make sure that,
The insurance companies always like to shift liability.
are they asking us or demanding it of us?
They have not demanded, they suggested.
Yeah, just,
They-
because I mean, 100 people you could even hit fairly easily, like, I don't know, like, the auction, the market day.
Well, that would not be part of this, the auction,
Why wouldn't it be?
because it's on private property.
Well, it's still, with the car show is,
we were gonna exempt all that stuff, I thought. Well, first of all, can I say something? And then if we want public comments, we can invite the public.
I'm hoping.
I think we should drop this for two reasons. One, just like Frank said, there's really no demand for it in this town. The bike race problem could have been solved very easily if they just called us and said, we're having a bike race. And we'd be riding through the town.
Communication, yes, I know.
And they weren't actually stopping unless the person got sick. They were riding through the town and riding back, just like traffic on the road. So that, in a way, is kind of irrelevant. And the other thing is the opposition that we got when we had the public hearing about this and all that from the public was pretty overwhelming. They don't like it. And I think based on those two reasons, we should, at least for now, just drop this whole thing. When it comes to a park, why don't we not
Let's do that when we get a park.
do it when we get the park?
But the insurance company was asking.
Okay, well,
They've asked.
politely say, well, we don't really have any events, and so
Yeah, it's an ask for demand. And
put them off and just say, thank you very much.
the
We're
insurance,
working on
the
it.
insurance company would prefer us to have no liability and just pay premiums. So-
Correct, absolutely.
And if they can work it that way, they'll do it.
So just politely say that we're working on it. And, you know,
I'm gonna agree with that.
provide.
I think this is too much for Posted Hill right now.
That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Frank, and thank
It
you,
isn't
David.
worth what it was a couple of years ago.
As a member of the public, I think it is a little bit much. Maybe it should be 500 people. I could see where, I hate to say this, and I don't mean this in any bad way, but you can have a family gathering at the Butlers and be 100 people.
Goyers.
The
Oh,
Goyers.
Goyers, sorry.
That's it.
The Goyers.
He can't invite all his family to his party.
And, you know, yeah. I think
Somebody will count.
I think one of the failures from the past was, in the past, if there was the bike race, unfair to even call it a race, but if there was a bike event, we got a letter or a notification from either the police department, fire department, or the sheriff saying this is taking place and looking for coordination among the entities, and that's it. And maybe that's all this needs, is that a significant event on a public highway requires coordination with the highway department.
And fire
And fire
department, I was going to be touching, going to be checking with the fire department. If I didn't get notice, I was gonna ask David and so on to keep me posted so as to prevent the communication situation that happened last year.
The bike race certainly has their own insurance. The Halloween parade does not. It's the town's insurance. But, you know, would that be an event covered under this?
Anything that is sponsored by like the town.
Still, I just think we're not there yet.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Works for me. I think, you know, we probably have to ask the insurance company if they really are dead set on this.
I don't
Actually,
say
you
anything
don't
at all.
ask at all, just let them ask again next year, that's all.
Forgiveness.
Hopefully they're not watching.
He's a married man.
all right, Paul Gallagher. Thank you very much for everyone's input and comments. Thank you. Okay, next item up on the list is the appointment of Judy Grattan and Terry Kirsch to the Ethics Board to complete the 4th and 5th position. Terry Kirsch was gracious enough to give us her resume. Judy Grattan has been a mainstay here at Town Hall for a long time. She's very, very active in the library, and comments on either Judy or Terry or both.
I would support both of them.
I'm sorry, sir.
I support both of them.
Thank you very much.
I've known Terry since the early 80s.
And obviously Judy, we're on the planning board together in 2009, and they're both very, very capable in my eyes.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, June.
I agree.
Thank you very much. Terry, thank you very much for putting your hat in the ring. Judy, if you're watching, thank you very much for putting your hat in the ring. All those in favor of the appointment of Judy and Terry to the Ethics Board? Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'll do this motion today. Thank you, David. Okay, do we have a motion to nominate Judy Grattan and Terry Kirsch to the Ethics Board?
Dominic just said earlier, can we do that?
Yeah, that's an action item.
No, we can do it at town board meeting. I mean, even, we asked Andy this, and he said we can do it. We can do action at these meetings. It's public, it's publicly announced. Andy said so.
Are you gonna do it under action, or are you gonna do it under discussion?
Yeah, that's.
I should best do it under action.
I would prefer to do it under action, please.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Dominic, thank you for your suggestions. David, thank you. And Sue, thank you for clarifying the situation.
DJ.
Okay, update on Water District Number 2, mandatory referendum. It is scheduled for June 27th from 12 until 7 p.m. Paper ballot at the firehouse. We thank the firehouse for allowing us to use the facilities. And we will be notifying your absentee ballots that will be available for people for legitimate reasons for not being able to cast a vote. And they need to be back to town hall by, they need to be picked up, they need to be picked up by the 7th, right? And then back into town hall by the 26th.
Correct.
Correct. By the 26th of June.
Are all eligible voters going to be individually notified?
Yeah, I'll have to
Put in a card the way they do it for the county?
probably mail.
Is that what we did last time for the water, for the ambulance district? Oh, that was townwide, so,
You'll have to send out something.
Yes, there will be a mail-in going
okay,
on, and there'll be some door knocking too, David.
okay.
Thank you.
So the absentee ballots are, what was the time frame again?
Okay, the absentee ballots are available, and they need to be picked up by the 7th. And then they need to be back into town hall by the 26th. So we can include it in the final tally of the ballots on the 27th.
So they can pick it up as of tomorrow, today. Like, they could come in now, or when did this, I thought I saw an email. It was started like on this date and the 7th,
They can pick it up on the 7th.
starting on the 7th.
On the 7th.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Starting on the 7th, they can
Yeah,
pick it
we
up.
have to finalize it yet.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Just want to make sure I understood. Thank you.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't see your hand.
No, it's fine. If people are out of town and it's postmarked by the 26th, then shouldn't it be counted? Because if you have an election, if it's postmarked by the time of the election, you have so many days after.
I'm gonna run into legal problems here, but we're just trying to get the vote finalized that on the night of the 27th. That's why I was asking for that.
But
And I will have to get legal, I'll have to confer with the lawyer or somebody on that one. But that was just a concern to get people's vote in and not drag this thing out, especially.
Oh, absolutely. But the other thing is, I think the first water district, way back in, I don't know, Stone Ages, was that run through the Board of Elections?
No.
Or was that just,
Through the town clerk.
was it?
Town clerk develops a list of eligible voters, mails to those eligible voters the information, and that's it. And uses tax rolls for eligible voters.
The county is not involved in this because there was a primary on the 25th, and all their machines, as you know, okay, brace yourself to work, but the machines are being utilized, so we cannot use them, so that's why we have to proceed forward on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, post discussion on the employee handbook.
I'm finally down to the end, and I just need two things clarified. So separation of employment. An employee whose employment with the town is terminated for any reason, including retirement, will not receive a cash payment for unused sick leave. This has nothing to do with like highway. It would be like a full-time town employee,
Town hall employee.
town hall employee. So what do we think about that? Whether we will pay out for unused sick leave.
Okay, and this is in the case of retirement?
No.
No, non-retirement.
It can be anything. It says, and terminated for any reason, including retirement, will not receive cash payment for unused sick leave. I concur for any other reason except retirement. My thought on strictly retirement was maybe up to 5 days. But for any other reason, but if we don't have a choice, then
How many days are you allowed to carry here as a town employee?
Because we always follow like the highway contract, and if you follow the highway contract, then there's a lot.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna, you say yay or nay to using somebody's sick time, you should have a limit on how many they're allowed to roll over each calendar year. Otherwise, if you have a town employee that's been town hall for 30 years, that's a lot of sick time being accrued every year if they're not burning. That's why we have limitations on what you can roll over.
Their contract, once an employee has accumulated 60 sick leave days, he or she shall be entitled to an annual payment at his or her current rate of pay for any unused sick leave days in excess of 60 up to a maximum of 40 hours. Unused sick days under this provision will be paid by December 31st each year.
Could you do the math and tell me how many days that actually is? That's confusing.
60 days, 480
Up
hours.
to 60 days of pay at the end of the year.
60 sick leave days, because, well, they get personal, they get sick, they get,
That's accumulated over the
Vacation.
years, not just
Right.
1 year.
I mean, I don't,
What
I
I
don't
do,
know.
what I do at my work is any unused sick days get rolled over into vacation days for the following year, and that's it. So if a person gets 2 weeks vacation and they don't call in sick at all, they get 3 weeks the next year, but it doesn't accumulate. They have to use it all or lose it. And the reason is getting the incentive not to be sick. But if they are sick, I don't want them to work. But accumulating year after year after year, that could get messy.
I mean, we do something similar. We pay out any unused sick days, gets paid out at the end of the year.
So it's done.
Done.
cut and dry.
You don't have that liability.
Yeah, and I think we have to be very careful here.
So every year, pay out any unused.
Well, I mean, I think 5 to 10 sick days to pay out would be reasonable for a person working here for a while. That doesn't seem like it'll put us at risk. And it seems fair. They showed up for work.
And everything's done at the end of the year.
So they don't have to keep
Yeah.
track.
Right.
No accumulating.
Let me throw an idea out there, but I do agree with you. But at my current, where I work, they have this thing called sick bank. So you can, every year you can roll 3 days into your sick bank, right? And then, you know, if you ever had something big, right? So you have a problem, you're gonna be out for, if you work somewhere for 10 years, it'd be 30 days. And if you ever needed to have some serious issue, you'd use your sick bank, right? And so they did say that apparently they used that for COVID. So you have people that have been working there for 25 years, that all these days that they at least could go back off of that. So anyways, because Dave, I agree, like you don't want to pay someone today what they would have got paid 20 years ago, right? Because that's what ultimately happens. If they're making more money today, you're paying them off of that. So that's just an idea, but that just also throws a wrinkle into the plan too. So that doesn't help the situation. But at least then, the problem then is like, what if you've been somewhere for 20 years and then you get sick? You only have the 2 weeks for that year. So the sick bag thing is kind of a neat idea, but I'm not trying to throw a wrench into this thing. It's just, I've never come across it before, and I'm utilizing it just because, I don't know.
Just we have to do that accounting, that seems.
It's an extra
a neat
set.
idea, but it's a lot of.
It is an extra set of accounting, right?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
How many full-time employees are there?
Exactly.
8, was it 8? Oh, full-time.
Full-time.
Full time.
So right now, all you have is Kara.
What are we talking about?
And because it's in there,
Because someday, right?
because we're gonna get bigger.
Oh, no, it shouldn't.
But just trying to look forward. And be ready.
I'd recommend allowing people to accumulate sick days. They don't believe in paying them out when they separate from service. Allow them to accumulate vacation days, and those get paid out to, with a limit. But there are sick days, you kind of use them or lose them. And, well, it's not use them or lose them, allow them to accumulate. Because when someone gets sick, we've done many things to keep people whole when they've gotten seriously ill, and we know they're not going to return for a few weeks, but we know they're going to return eventually. So having, whatever number you pick, say you can accumulate 30 sick days. Well, okay, you get so many per year you're going to accumulate. Take you quite a while to get to the 30 days, but then you've got them. It's a way of keeping an employee that they know if they get sick, they can fall back on their sick days. And you allow them to accumulate some vacation time if they don't take, I don't know, I'm going to say standard 2 weeks that they get a vacation. But like you say, you got one employee, which really comes down to contractual agreement to whoever's hiring that employee. So it's very unlike the union contract. So I write up a policy and come to a conclusion on a policy and then try to keep to the policy.
You could just take that out of there as you hire,
Did you happen to find the old employee handbook?
No, what happened was Tiffany got this from Sam Lake and started all over.
We have an employee handbook.
Okay,
I hate to say it's behind Tom's desk, but it's behind Tom's desk.
from that.
From at least 2016.
Well, that's not too old.
So I take a look at that and see what it says, because it has certain policies in it about what we say about health insurance. And they were things adopted by the town board cumulatively that went into the employee handbook. Like I said, there's only one full-time employee.
Right.
So you just take a look. If you find it, great. If you don't find it, and even if you find it, maybe it's outdated.
Okay. That would have been a lot easier a long time ago.
I'm sorry.
Did you miss that?
I've been staying away. I want to cause trouble.
Okay, all right. I'm good with that. It's fine.
Okay, so we go hunting tomorrow morning.
What's good about that is it ends the discussion.
We don't have to look at medical insurance. Okay.
Okay, next item, we have a sheet on the fees for planning and zoning that they're asking us to review and to put into place from this point forward. First item, installation of photovoltaic system, solar heated hot water, going for roof mounted, going to 150, for ground mounted, going to 250. Minor subdivision, $100 is the current amount for the first new lot. We're going to $200 each for the new lots in proposal. Major subdivision, $500 per lot, $500 for each new lot created. Site plan review would go from $50 to $200. Lot line adjustments, current is 100 per adjusted line, going to 2 lots for 100, 3 or more lots, $100 each new lot. Request for interpretation would go from $40 to $50. Application for use variance would go from $60 to $100. Application for area variance would go from $40 to $100. New additions to the fee schedule. Adding commercial solar to type 4 category would be $5,000. Generator inspection would be $50. Driveway permit cut-in would be $25. Discussion, comments, anything? Okay, we'll put that into action items or
No, we're gonna need a resolution.
I'm sorry, we need to get a resolution, excuse me. My bad.
Would it be feasible to have the fees outside of a resolution so that they can be adjusted without the cumbersome process of the resolution? Did we talk about this once?
I don't know the answer to that because then it's in the code book, right? Because all those are listed. So once you change the code
If
or the fee schedule,
you could adopt, I'll let Andy do the ultimate one, but you could adopt a local law saying, these are the fees adopted on this date, and the fees are automatically adjusted each year by the, what's it, CPI?
Well, you could, or, yeah,
Future board action. You just don't want to change the code, but take them out.
I'm just saying, would it make sense to do that, or is this not too cumbersome a process to do it? Because if we do it this way, we're not gonna do it every year. And with inflation at 5%, 4% a year,
that's how it got
out of control,
right.
right?
That it hadn't been so long or looked at for so long.
I think this is something for a church.
Yeah. I don't-
Okay,
I don't
question,
think
going out. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your comments.
But I think we're all good.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Would you want
Yeah.
Tom, just how the procedure to bring them into effect?
Just to clarify one thing, the solar commercial fee is independent of any consulting fees the town may have to do in order to approve or disapprove the permit.
Yes, that is,
There wasn't a category, so they had a section for solar commercial, but they never put it in the category. So what happened was that they decided that it would go in category 5 along with like the towers.
and the wind.
Yes, so, and I believe when we did the solar law, it outlines a fee schedule. I don't want to call them in lieu of taxes, but a community host fee schedule based on total kilowatts that the facility would generate. But when you review the project, if it's a $5,000 fee for the permit application, the permit application is independent of if you have to hire LaBerge, let's say, to review their application and advise the town board on the application. I believe it's I don't know if it's the zoning law or planning law, it says these fees are paid by the applicant. So, right, so, but all I want to do is make sure it's clear that the application fee is independent of any chargebacks to the applicant.
Yes, sir.
Because I think there was a discussion that it would go through the TDD too, and you were still gonna keep that $500 fee for that application for the TDD.
So you're saying, yes, there's chargebacks are still allowed.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, because we would definitely, the town would definitely need to have on a project, on a commercial project, we would need to have engineering expertise to advise us on how to go. Okay. And we would have to charge for that.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it's in there, I think that's what we should be proceeding.
Okay. Legal questions being asked. Okay. Next item. Okay, Mike Noble, who is our IT person here in town, is sent notification that his rate will be changing as of June 1 from $35 to $45 an hour. There was some expansion in the data processing budget, contractual, that when the budget was being processed last fall, Mike had mentioned that he may or may not be continuing, and if we did go with another firm, our costs would be much higher. So we do have a little wiggle room in the budget to accommodate Mike's revised fees.
His
And he has
bills
been
have been incredibly reasonable.
extremely. I'm very biased, but he has been most helpful. His rate has been very low, and he's very, very responsive. So I think his request is legitimate. I'm just one person. Other comments?
I'm more than good with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Okay. All right, notify Mike. Okay, next item up is resolution number
13.
Lucky 13? For 2024. Do you want to read it, Sue, or you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
I just want, thank you, Sue. Okay, resolution authorizing purchase of tractor and mower. Whereas the town of Postville Highway Department seeks to purchase a tractor and mower, which the highway department deems necessary and appropriate for use by the town of Postville. And whereas the highway department has obtained a proposal from Tiger Mowers for the purchase of a John Deere tractor and Bengal boom mower, which meets the needs and requirements of the highway department at a total purchase price of $195,039, and pursuant to Sourcewell contract number 070821-TGR, which will be purchased through a written lease purchase proposal from Real Lease dated May 7, 2024. Whereas Sourcewell is a public agency, public corporation, and government unit created by the legislature of the state of Minnesota, and whereas New York General Municipal Law 103-16 authorizes municipalities to comply with competitive bidding requirements through entering into contracts for services and/or equipment through the use of contracts led by the United States or any agency thereof, any state or any other political subdivision or district therein. Whereas it appears to the satisfaction of the town board that Sourcewell purports to be and is a political subdivision of the state of Minnesota, and that the town is therefore entitled to make purchases under contracts let by Sourcewell. And whereas Sourcewell contract number 070821-TGR meets the requirements of General Municipal Law 103-16, and whereas the town board of the town of Postonville seeks to authorize the purchase of such tractor and mower from Tiger Mowers through the written lease purchase proposal by Real Lease as herein described. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Postonville in regular session, duly convened as follows. 1, the town board of the town of Postonville hereby authorizes the purchase of a John Deere tractor and Bengal boom mower from Tiger Mowers, quoted through Sourcewell contract number 070821-TGR in an amount not to exceed $195,039, and the purchase due and pursuant to the written lease purchase by proposal by Real Lease dated May 7, 2024. The town, number 2, the town board of the town of Postonville hereby authorizes the town highway superintendent to approve the term of the lease with intent to purchase from the lease term options provided in such Real Lease written proposal. The foregoing resolution is offered by, thank you, Frank, and seconded by,
Second.
thank you, David.
Real quick, should we note here where the money's coming from, what line item? Did I miss that? Do we normally do that?
No, we don't normally do that, but it'll be coming from machinery 2 in the line.
Thank you, DJ.
Councilman Butler?
Yes.
Councilman Hutz?
Yes.
Councilman Brazili?
Yes.
Councilman Oliver?
Yes.
Supervisor Russell?
Yes, please. The foregoing resolution was thereupon declared duly adopted, May 23, 2024. Thank you very much. Thank you, DJ, for the work you did on this.
Thank you.
And in John Deere, it was a model 6106E, long tractor. What?
6105.
My bad. Thank you, DJ.
It's all good.
But it's a very nice piece of equipment and should work well. But it'll be, what do you figure, a year,
June 25.
June of 25. Okay. Next item up is the payment of bills.
Now we have to appoint
Wait.
Judy Bratton and Terry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's why we have Sue.
This is true. Thank you very much, Sue. Okay. All those in favor of the nomination, I'm sorry, do I have a motion for the nomination of Judy Grattan and Terry Kirsch to be new members on the Ethics Board? Thank you, June. Frank seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
And one abstention, 401.
I have a question. What about Mike Noble? Should you do a
I
motion?
was just gonna bring, I was
Okay,
gonna ask if we could do one on Mike also.
okay.
Do we have to?
And then it
He just bills.
Yeah.
We just pay the bill.
I think it was just more like a notice.
I think so. I don't think we have to.
Not for a rate increase? Okay.
No, because we don't have it,
That's just about it, right?
we don't have it formally written down anywhere. If that's part of his, like, I'm thinking it's sort of like the beginning of the year meeting where we set rates. We don't do that for our outside contractors.
Okay.
It's just like anything else that goes up in price.
Yeah,
Right.
gravel and so.
Right.
I just wanted,
Was there one other item that you wanted to push to action? Or is that it?
Tim,
Yeah, that was it.
we have the Terry and Judy,
Yeah.
we appreciate that, and we took care of the tractor.
Yep.
Okay, am I missing anything?
I think you got it.
Thank you very much. Okay. David, if you would, please.
I move that we pay the general bills of $23,475.60.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of paying the general bills? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you.
And I move that we pay the whopping water bill of $32.87.
I'll second. Okay. I'll go with that. Anyone care to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor of paying the water bill?
And I move that we pay the highway bill of $6,207.29.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Bills have been paid. Total amount paid is $29,715.76 for all three categories. Okay, at this point in the meeting, we're going into executive session. I thank everyone for coming tonight. There will be no votes taken, we have to deal with personnel matters. Please move.
What's the purpose of the executive session?
Personnel matters.
That's it.
Thank you. Excuse me for not saying that loud.
Do we need a motion to do
We need, I'm sorry, we need a motion to go into executive session. Thank you very much. Anyone care to make a motion? I'll make a motion. Okay, I'll second it, please. A very good Memorial Day weekend to you all. Thank you very much for coming.
Congratulations on the most. Make sure, yeah. Every, put it in every bar.